deforestation is that it has a series of causes that have an influence on it, but part of the origin is an economic factor. And part of the solution is how do we do so that producers and are more competitive and that their activity is profitable. It's not only about not generating deforestation, um, but it's about sustainability. We need to generate this we have but what yeah, that Abba has mentioned is we need a sentence. So we need to see how each producer can benefit from their activities. So in that sense, the panel that I will moderate, it will cover beyond free deforestation, promoting agriculture, regenerative agriculture. We'll have Pirena Piscini, manager, feature forest of BNC, and she will speak about concepts, and we will listen as part of this panel. Uh, listen what the other show, the the founders, the producers, very kind of the institutions that will seek about what the adding that's about, and also from we have been to the about that, because I think Alabama is also probably about poverty of what the country so well that well there's you not have a lister. I had very suddenly but that really just scared with alien. Get in there, the wizard. There's those that one call radio down by the areas. Actually, man out of the ghetto side, they want to again. So area didn't with a force and WNWS. We had got the CIADO coordinator of Solidaridad. We didn't first thought was sorry off it. No, that baby out on it and much about it. And to the cloud show, we know we are almost at the end of the life of the study. We just not. I totally good. Uh, no. I'm not sure how to play. And agriculture. Yep. Definitely. Thing that add like another year. That other thing is taking us to leaves land like land that it come degraded or certified. That to that we add emissions of the agriculture sector, and because of this use or the back practices, We need to regenerative agriculture. What we see is this change from conventional to regenerative. Not only looking about the treatment of the naturally surrounding the side of the mold of the soil, of feed or the ecosystem. We want to provide resiliency as to the research and our resiliency and resiliency towards fluctuations in the market. Also, slightly that factor of climate resiliency being releasing carbon capture and this with the wild ability on the production. The same scenario in the case of cattle. We know that cattle is does not only have problems of the yield, but costs are high because they have to improve the soil instead of the human the and there's still a big more well cattle that is thanks settled. You even lots of use the stuff, but evidently needs to get it increase about that thing of having furnace there without damaging the soil. We need the sensations and be the English those power sources to relate the divided none of the place. Seven cents not the base out there. I would take you to speed of the bill. I would have got a lot of you thinking none of the fact with the fact world H out of feet. By the way, where this time goes the larger strengthen the landscapes we are speaking about and strengthening of the landscape. Now, we carry it on the soldiers. They died with HDSU while with the coat tight was still with that. They sent down stuff. This, the type of it, they should put all the money yet. Out there, he's done stuff out that was new yet. It was ready to play, right? Okay, we work that out, but I think the gift that was a thing, just like and when the law comes on, what was it? Out on the point that they were seeing. They did things in South Africa. Okay, we didn't have talent. I get asked it. Then he played inside. But global and adaptation. Soil travel stop and button. But we have to have what is she called the white idea of 7 to 5 of that. A tablet and before so big help on the sepsis of and for was the I'm the station and the even down the yes it is we do not have a sugar issue ideal comfortable with that nation for food regenerative at the cold on side. Did it got there's the weapon that you're saying that's good but it could be been the way not the reject. But that's the moment it would be the place. I just said took it was syrup, bad that you're that half it is going to the I just I actually will repeat out the population sabotage the end of your object and the state that step time where the role like that was in it. Fatty like this, and I can take this fat, and it would be so. Then it will have this. I think a politician that offered charity to cancers what the dog for the need to fed and another day coming to back to you later that at least after himself. But they certainly mean rare customer great things. So that the straight last corporate I had agreed that the station moderate were weak and had not realized the regulations that they'll all these respectable bad to very convenient and I did drink them for a long time, so I put out as an inside the deal pretty clear, but a read about it. Either, but we could get likely to reconsider that. That could is the thing, the meant to about you, about them. And the fact that I'm here about to take it, that Russian, and right for that, what I some reaching down, I say is, now, I see. So, with that, we will generate the gains for the sector, and with our practices, there's also the active practices. When we speak of the generative agriculture, we speak about ideal practices for the space that we are. But I'm too at so we can also speak about some practices of regeneration and purple, or in preparing the Africa, but that was will for like that principle which the only the same. That it didn't need to get matter all most all but that this is where plant free main feathers and agriculture with the diversification and sustainability and more the research down have some even and then that means that they really when the word it but you got what whether on a delicate fertilize like this. they would pass children that we could secure the doctor ourselves. And we're out of the state story large regenerative after all the at worst really in third place now but it's actually down. That we don't know the doubt that needed. But this will create such hours stuff. And everybody call. They invited our drug doors and coming by. I the ROI thing at the first year. Nice to remind you about how they was really what the commitment for is when the field ended like a slavery with each other at the paper where we started speaking about not those mind is set down and what's going to help with that there's system there. It's just about the other people about words with their our culture without sedation in it. And without other incident in college. We give a back your rate of a and they generate taking the other side considered back at house. So we don't have the must come support. And it was a philosophy or practice. Or it goes back to the issue can be perceived as ideology when promoted by the green and by the that actually the religious order will be that what is outdated. We believe that we need to develop our the people which is what Roger is worth the power to see a sword at first but as an ally but the government the radios beyond perceptions and to tackle the roots of great causes. And lastly, let's talk about reactors, right, of the food industry. What? Step back. That's the amount of it. I think just put that in the limit. So I then get after this if you out there five and then on the two they're really but if I was out there for this we just like the fridge not out of it. It used to be out there. This thing at point to him, it's a defilement being from low. Since that is where trades gone as found this to believe, I think see what's where the word good. How's about there, either that old. So, well, they just did not step in and know that I'm about to go, but onto the spot. when somewhere like that, yes, what that means really we do a lot of reputation. Is like the foundation to them, it's all regenerative, was it with I think should we tell you all the best book and it was I later the rest of the other one is that was the I did a little I think autograph I with nature because if you have a capacity yeah benefit Tumblr was speak of it link sources to what you try I just see 96 so also please never human. Another guard was taught that by these two things, you have builders get staff to the lead it, which you have it. Oh, yeah, you need it, and tell that it was made to buy. And beyond to that, you should be got. Should keep the model of Adelaide, that is, the forest. Didn't stop deforestation as these odds with a bit of the right. Well, doing a lad, and we learned about these re-80s, even I bet so, Adeline. What's the other team out of the theater? Then I go totally really help talk on teeth and the really big programming of 500 acres for very, very simple and the vibe of it was it's in that the catalyst you need that made driving illegal here to even cattle in that state. We would have been to the pot and about what yeah for the community the fold. More caught in the top of the world is stuff and the process for that island are sort of huge process. It is profitability in sharing out the popular in a big house drama to be where it's high. You must see the other aspects just by cave. You know, the yeah, as but isolated really I said a barrier that really really see a time that but when I was at a fight and our cavalier was talking about we participated in a program of the states in school out there and we participated and we were won a contest. Why they didn't go in there? And hard day. The I'll bring you the Vegas. Well, but not today needed the they in our area, so they found well he needed it, but after so we didn't have it then after feel like well we are one of but I mean the grains for the feed and the cost you might feel more but what's the cabinet as far as a big lead got it here for yeah it's just that oh now I have it right that's what I was scared that range those things we were in the coldest eyes with some the time of we having white place to have that big
exactly up to the
guiding faith blackly with the tail and
is really with a career a little bit.
You know, the question about another source, I did we want animate or regenerative power. Just to be realized that if the conventional side, we one having and that for actor. It didn't go bad over the system, so pick location, the capital in support for a lot of pilot heads for head that even though I believe that at that point of view we already thought that the boys could offer at that point to take into account you dared copy. And then always we noticed that by telling you that the chemicals and I were victim of that people or those doctors used that. And that's in it that way they place what create parasites. Well, this we like and not added damage the ecosystem and that when you like all the biology that acts that always I don't know if there's something that you do not use that and we have studied the rotation with like so and all they are now if we knew thought with this stuff that there's no to me goes in that and bought the ship and that maybe that they talk about the situation. We the this stuff he's what any of the inserts with the beginning by legalized suicide that I died at a theory and then ready to all the recorded music for which means the product about the 11,000 feet but at least I was already off 5 feet.
One organization
West, the spiritual a thought there on stuff or that we have back to some chef we know you thought it was out there this spot on the wall. Though I since this May when you're racing you got it in players. Yeah. That's like myth. I believe they were cited narcissism. Also, the black ticket stands on that to the state of your how these different
that did not get
production unit of a flagship file truck need about a facility to India. Creek access created the cohesion standard to platinum that. Far right foot. They clearly talent, and that's where the exercise is 7:30. There's only the say conditions, which I think is a will to change the our big we trust of like a dash out to for sustainable practices at outside production. I feel it. Now that there's the Paris balances the space with the delivery for the limits and special ability the the well 5 years ago where the and it got into word I thought we pop this way more it was the short out now. So you didn't see and worked off production two items and leading them into sustainable production. We found this school or regenerative agriculture, but it's neither in seriously the change of mindset of all the participants in the different parts of it that I could change them. So the level, even though it's the benefit there, and slowly we need to generate the only taste. But he starts to work for about 5 years or we actually play a challenge with him. We got listed here, you know, anything that help. The challenge, yeah, to change that image, the cattlers have to get back more money off the name with by fault. That's actually getting about this.
and then would say to the people.
The second challenge for that was the gatherers that how the world implements it that all the big have this will being carbon neutral. With these two challenges, is that we started to work on these intervention of the generative catalyst. We started calling all the members of the chain, climate chain, to conform this space for dialogue and to generate this and with conditions needing participation, which is collaboration about all the stakeholders to try to discuss and identify which are these bottlenecks that the country has in terms of agriculture to solve that with criteria and social impacts. Among these, started working on 2018 and technical assistance and training, but that didn't exist in the past. New training and technical assistance specialized for cattling to transit into better sustainable regenerative practices that has helped a lot definitely working with associations of cattlers, working at the local level, designing and training programs that are related to, like forests, like the ones that we just seen, reducing chemical use, planting pastures, rotation with cattle heads. Again, this is the restoration of mode, and the schools having some of the best tools, and which these training programs uh, designed and adapted to the colors can be implemented in the practice, following the methodologies that help. So the training programs are implemented by the settlers. Very interesting technology. The school that so employees and all the really toddlers were having dabbling, knowing that it's a very machoist activity. You need to work out how to take your activity. So there's something that we have been able to work with the families. Up to now, we work with 500 families that are in this section, how to implement different criteria of regeneration and other enabling condition for this experience of the other countries to work on the regulatory framework. Um, in April, the Ministry of Agriculture Development and so they issued a resolution that declares the promotion of the good practices of sustainable handling. With this in declaration of interest, doors open to generate a national strategy for sustainable handling in the sector until they are having sectoral means to shape what are those criteria and principles to develop sustainable handling in the sector to generate the, the framework and start working at the local level and also through investment. If we don't have criteria of how to do Cadillac in the Amazon, we cannot start generating fund systems or financing systems. Also, the verification. Who says how? Um, what are the principles to do regenerative handling? We're working with a series of stakeholders to create those criteria and principles that the gatherer must have, the person that buys, and the one that transport, and the one that benefits from it. What are those criteria for social environmental responsibility uh, and the framework for verification, this tool that allows to uh, transition and create the conditions. So another important condition is the one of generating access to markets or to generate the access to the markets. It's not only necessary to that the markets are open to pay a premium price, but we need that all of the stakeholders of the chain generate an alliance that are focused on knowing the attributes of these products and that the product that restores and that generates connectivity, biodiversity. So they know the attributes, knowing that being free from chemical additives improves or at least does not damage the human health. So there is definitely uh, openness to know the product, but they still need to know the benefits of this type of product. The participation of the community and local governance is another enabling condition because if they do not respect traditional knowledge or they don't involve the communities in the design or the co-design of these interventions, it's very possible that this intervention is not successful. And the collaboration in the spaces for dialogue is very important to have a success. The GRAB is actually a space for a national dialogue in Catalan, but also there are associations and the committees and technical tables, the spaces for discussion where they discuss Catalan and the experience of them want to improve the chain. And finally, the financial mechanisms and access to sustainable finances, unless they, well, since I've been working in GAP and GRAP, we have been working to strengthen the stakeholder action. So we were working with the regional government of Wanuco and generating a series of trainings on sustainable cattling with regenerative concepts, and we saw that there were some actions, and 100 million studies were in a process of design for a, and then this is exactly a time with this projects from the state. We need to search that this investment from the state has in their design criteria of regenerative handling that surge uh, to achieve what Johnny mentioned. But this investment should generate an impact in the regions that are creating this project. In Huánuco, we are working on a project to so it can have a tropical sustainable focus, and then there are many examples. Finally, one of the enabling conditions that we will consider that the working group has been created on regenerative handling in the framework of the draft. More than 10 universities, 8 of them National University of Peru, and we are generating a, an agenda for investigation to show the changes that it can the scope can have, but also searching for new methodologies so the handlers start working with it. Thank you.
Word ahora so that we hear about agricultural. Okay. That I was out of the other large shot like a bushy pinch on you to I think and it right the city. House a little everything that they live in and systemic should be that that's moderate that help with these results, the ones that I've just mentioned mainly to prevent to reduce the negative impact on their medicine and contribute to the improvement or the lifestyle of the producers. In South America, we have focused mainly on the commodities of cacao, livestock, coffee, and almonds. In an article that we published at the beginning of this year to measure the impact After 9 years of the project and the chains of coffee with Peru and Colombia and the cacao chain and livestock of Brazil, then we identified that when we started using this type of models of regenerative agriculture, 61,000 hectares of cacao have transitioned from traditional agriculture to regenerative agriculture. This was translated into obtaining more carbon related to the farm used to use traditional methods. Bringing our talking about our experience on a national level, talking about coffee, we use a model of agricultural regenerative where we multiply agricultural practices. The adoption of this model has increased 10% of the productivity. So this information also has to do with the increase in price recently and for AI or social media. I saw a project in the chain of coffee in Peru. Uh, in Altamaya, we have promoted this type of agriculture in 300,000 families because evidently there are improvements in their income, and this type of model contributes to the transition of the chain to sustainability. Like this type of learning, which has been the learning that has been really relevant, is that a key factor to achieve this transition and the impact, different impacts, is also to involve the families of agricultures of coffee. And to do this, it is necessary to create spaces so that they can access knowledge and technology that we promote. This condition, which we currently have as an organization, as part of the recognition that it exists, it still exists with cultural and social norms that promote inequality of gender, of ethnicity, of educational gaps. I want to share some lessons learned that we've had as an organization by implementing these inclusive models that are focused on producer and families. Can we can identify behaviors and attitudes that can be that this is contributing to the equitative distribution of roles. This is because we have learned that when these type of dialogues are promoted, it directly impacts in the improvement of the productivity of the family, and that family income can be reinvested in the family, whether it's healthcare, education, etc. For lesson one, to approach the inequalities, we need to promote the family values and the benefits that they identify that equality brings. That has to be generated from the family itself. Lesson two is that families that participate in decision making spaces towards this equality recognize the importance of sharing the responsibilities. These dialogues at the same time have pushed, have motivated that they improve their planning and how they want to invest their responsibilities in the farms, and also at the same time face challenges and adversities. Lesson three, the more involvement of women in agricultural practices, increase the resilience, climate resilience, and the food security of families. And lesson 4 is count with technical bodies made up by youth. This ensures a commitment in a family because from there they have faced the necessities that their own families have experienced, and that promotes the adoption of regenerative practices, but at the same time, it generates conditions and equal access to all of these learnings. So we have arrived as a result of the implementation of strategies and gender analysis that we have made and the chains that we work with currently. We have gender analysis for coffee and cacao chain in San Martin's, which were developed in 2020, and we also have a gender analysis for the palm chain in Ucayali, which started being developed at the beginning of this year. And I want to emphasize this, the latest one, because there was so much misinformation of the inequality. And any person that's interested on these topics, you could ask me for them. The conclusions and recommendations of these documents, so civil society, actors, private or public, how can we promote this? And we've talked about this, is that we have to work together so that we can achieve that transition, recognizing that we cannot talk about sustainability without creating mechanisms that are inclusive and that allow the access to resource of knowledge and energy to all the people that are part of the production process, regardless of their age, their ethnicity, their gender. And I'd like to finish by generating this type of knowledge helps us and prepares us to be prepared of the requirements that will be asked for us whenever, because with different entities or organizations like the European Union. Thank you. Thank you, Lucia, for the broad panorama that you showed us to finish. We're going to have about our regional director, Albertano Carmenal. So in the context of the philosophy of sustainable development, can you share your experiences related to circular economy are being generated in the region, and what has the regional government recognized to scale up? Thank you, Rene. I want to say hi on behalf of all of us. Thank you for having us. Thank you for the invite. Starting by saying that circular economy as a model that looks to eliminate residues and maintain materials and use as a concept of circular economy. The regional government has been involved at a level of the region with different products, agricultural and livestock. And on all of those, we have been seeing the regenerative activity. We've been talking about much of it, that through technical assistance that we provide, we reach the agricultural producers, or we refer to coffee, cacao, plantain, corn.
y cambiar ese chip
To change the chip of the producer is a bit difficult. I say difficult because this has happened. My father is a livestock farmer. When I finished my studies, leaving school, I go to my dad and I say, okay, we're going to change your line. He used to have his animals that everybody has, the old farmers, and he said, no, you're not going, don't get involved. I said, Dad, we'll improve your livestock. He didn't want it.
todo entender
You have to understand that we have to promote the rotation of animals.
vamos a poner
But
que no haces y lo tengo eso.
he just was happy with having 20 hectares with a million animals. Just
So auto
I went to Moyobamba for reasons of, in a few years, he calls me and tells me because he needed to change. You know, he realized that he needed to change. Son, please come and help me so that we can change the line and implement the changes. I went to help him, and it wasn't. I couldn't give him the time that I could before that I did. Now he's there with the new
in years they could run the
changes.
it is a
We go
ya luego yo
by that is what we have to change. And I understand what Johnny said, that unfortunately many farmers are hesitant to change, but it is possible. Let's not talk about inheritance. These are structures that everybody has that we can change. I see it with my dad, and I consider that we can do it with many. And that is part of the regenerative livestock, which we are working as a regional government. As I say, going to all the farmers that request technical assistance, not asking them to hunt through the mountains. We have to recover the land in every sense of the word, the coverage so that they could have enough nutrients and we can do an activity that they need. We cover our waters. And many parts of our regions, we are staying without water. I was going through the region, and there are areas that are dry, and especially during this time. But we are still in time that let this not stay just here. We're all actors, right? So we have to intervene. Let's not just talk about this or let's act on it. I consider that we will do it. And I always say, stop deforestation. Don't take down the forest, which is the habitat of many species, fauna and flora. And why not say it's the place where our brothers and our indigenous communities can survive. They are part of these forests. Let's not get rid of them. Those are the guardians of these forests. We don't have to get rid of them. We don't have to tell them to come to the city. No. Let them stay there forever. As that way we can guarantee possibly what is natural medicine, because they have knowledge of a variety and species that exist in the forestry. They heal themselves. They're not going to the hospitals with conventional medicine. No, they heal themselves with their own natural medicine. So that's where we have to stop. No deforestation. That's why we are here as a regional government. sensibilizing the producers, farmers, and agriculture. Like that, I also want to talk about agriculture.
Eh, muchas veces
Many times we apply circular economy.
encontramos 5.000
We
delfines,
plant
por decirlo así.
tilapia, for example.
No todos crecen uniformemente.
Not all of them grow
No llegan a los 4 meses.
in the best way.
Pagados. El trabajo es caro.
They, we don't use them all, so what can we do? Great
Estos peces
is that they make the fish go to the rivers. They make the fish go to the river, and we're affecting negatively our rivers because this tilapia is a species that's expansive,
va
and
eliminando.
they diminish the varieties that are native of the rivers.
Entonces, ¿qué estamos
So
buscando?
what are we doing right now as
Regional de producción.
the regional
Esos
direction
descartes
using those
para el forraje vivo de la crianza de países.
use
Entonces,
those tilapia for the growth of paiche. So when paiche consumes this tilapia, I grow paiche.
¿no? Entonces, ¿cómo se desarrolla?
So how is it developed?
Un año,
And 1 year they're in 12 kilos. In 2 years, double, and that's when we eat them fast, quickly. And personally,
llamamos nosotros descarte de la tilapia.
by doing this, we don't give them a balanced meal, just tilapia. And this is part of the circular economy that we have been working on in agriculture.
Creo que
I think that I hope I'm in time, but I hope that I've been able to explain something of what we're working on in the regional government, and we can continue talking about these topics.
Very much to highlight how through their activities is identifying these models of agriculture and handling and activities in a circular manner, regenerative manner, and through technical systems as a subject to escalate at the regional level and incorporate this important project. So the government, thank you very much.